Watching someone fading away is a special kind of pain because it is not sudden. It does not hit you like a storm all at once. It arrives slowly, silently, over days, months, sometimes years. At first, you barely notice it. A forgotten detail, a missed call, a change in tone, a shorter conversation. Then, one day, you look at the person you love and realize something has shifted so deeply that you are no longer looking at the same version of them you used to know. Christmas makes this experience even sharper. The season comes with rituals, memories, repetition. Same songs, same decorations, same table, same traditions. These become a mirror. They show you the difference between then and now. One year, their eyes were bright, their laughter loud, their presence strong. Now maybe they're quieter, tired, distant. Maybe illness has changed their body. Maybe emotional distance has changed their heart. Either way, you feel it. You are watching them fade, and you don't know how to hold on. Psychologically, this is one of the hardest forms of grief in slow motion. It is called anticipatory grief. Your mind is mourning someone who is still here. Your heart is torn between gratitude for the present and fear of the future. You sit beside them at the Christmas table, you hear their voice, you see their hands, and at the same time, another part of you is already crying for the day when that chair will be empty or that connection will be gone. You are living two timelines at once. When someone is fading physically, the changes feel cruel. Their body once moved easily. Now every step is heavy. Their memory once held stories. Now they search for names. Their face once lit up the room. Now pain, medication, or exhaustion dulls their expressions. As you watch this, you feel helpless. You cannot negotiate with time. You cannot argue with disease. You cannot reverse the process. And so you stand in this impossible space between wanting to protect them and knowing you cannot fix them. When someone is fading emotionally, the changes are more invisible, but just as painful. They answer with shorter sentences. They spend more time on their phone, in their thoughts, away from you. They seem far away even when they are sitting right next to you. Conversations that used to last for hours now last a few minutes. Eye contact becomes rare. Touch becomes mechanical or disappears. You feel like you're losing someone who is still right there. You reach out, but your hand closes around air. Both forms of fading trigger the same core fear. I am losing them, and I can't stop it. The brain reacts to this fear in different ways. Some people become overly active. They organize, control, anticipate every detail. They arrange the medications, the appointments, the visits, the Christmas menu, the presents, the hospital bags, the schedule. They stay busy because slowing down means feeling, and feeling means facing the truth. Control becomes their way of protecting their heart. On the outside, they look strong, efficient, responsible. On the inside, they are terrified. Others do the opposite. They freeze. They withdraw. They avoid difficult conversations. They act like nothing is happening. They joke, stay on the surface, talk about the weather, the decorations, the food. Not because they don't care, but because they care so much that they are afraid that one wrong word will break them open. Emotional numbness becomes their shield. And then there is the quiet anger that often appears in these situations. Anger at fate, anger at the universe, anger at doctors, at time, at God, at themselves. Why didn't we do something earlier? Why didn't I see the signs? Why is this happening now, during Christmas, when we're supposed to be happy? Anger is a natural response to helplessness. The mind prefers rage over powerlessness because rage feels active, even when nothing can really be changed. When you watch someone fading away, one of the hardest questions is, how am I supposed to behave? Should you talk about it or pretend everything is normal? Should you encourage them to fight or accept their limits? Should you ask them what they need or decide for them because they are tired? Should you hold on tightly or start letting go so it hurts less later? There is no perfect answer, and that uncertainty is part of the torment. Here is an important truth. There is no correct way to feel in this situation. Confusion is normal. Mixed emotions are normal. You can be grateful and resentful in the same hour. You can love someone and feel tired of the situation. You can want to be by their side and at the same time need space because your heart feels overloaded. None of this means you are cold. It means you are human. What matters most is not having the perfect reaction, but staying honest with yourself and with them. If someone is fading physically, honesty can sound like, I am scared, but I am here. It can be simple acts, sitting in silence beside their bed, holding their hand, listening to stories they've told you 100 times, letting them repeat themselves without correcting. It is not about heroic speeches. It is about presence. When the body is failing, the greatest comfort is often knowing that the heart next to you is not running away. If someone is fading emotionally, pulling away in a relationship, honesty can sound like, I feel you drifting, and it hurts me. I don't want to attack you. I just want to understand what is happening. Many relationships break not because someone changed, but because nobody found the courage to name that change gently. Watching someone fade without saying anything is like watching a house burn while standing at the window. Silence does not protect you. It burns you more slowly. Christmas gives you a strange opportunity. The season itself carries emotional permission. It is more acceptable to say, this year has been hard, or I miss how things used to be, or can we talk about us? People are more open to reflection when the year is ending. The decorations, the lights, the music, they all send the same message. Time is passing. Use it. If you are watching someone fade, ask yourself, what do I want to say before it's too late? What do I want them to know without a doubt? What memory do I want to create this Christmas, even if the situation is painful? It might be as simple as, thank you for everything you've given me. It might be, I forgive you, or I'm sorry, or I still want us to try, or you have mattered more to my life than you realize. These sentences do not fix illness, age, or emotional distance, but they anchor truth. They give both of you something real to hold on to in the middle of the fog. There is another psychological pattern here, the fear of making memories when you know someone is fading. Sometimes you pull back from enjoying moments because you're afraid that the more you love now, the more it will hurt later. The brain whispers, if I stay emotionally half present, maybe it won't destroy me when they are gone. But this is a lie. Distance does not prevent pain. It only prevents connection. The loss will hurt anyway. The question is whether, when you look back, you will remember that you showed up fully or that you hid. Watching someone fade away is unbearable, not because of the fading itself, but because it forces you to confront how little control you have. Control over time, control over another person's choices, control over biology. The only real control you have is over how you respond, with avoidance or with presence, with silence or with sincerity, with fear or with love. This Christmas, if you are facing a fading presence at your table, allow yourself to grieve, even while they are still here. Grief does not mean you have given up. It means you acknowledge reality and the depth of your attachment. You can cry and still be strong. You can be afraid and still be loving. You can break down and still be a source of comfort. Strength in these moments is not about never falling apart. It is about coming back to the person, again and again, even after you do. Do not measure your love by how perfectly you handle this. Measure it by how often you return, how often you try, how often you choose to stay emotionally available even when your heart is tired. One day, the fading will reach its end, through death, through separation, or through transformation. But right now, in this moment, they are still here in some form. Their hand is still warm. Their name is still on your lips. Their voice, even if softer or rarer, is still reachable. You cannot stop the fading, but you can decide not to fade with it. You can remain present. You can remain honest. You can remain loving. And years from now, when you think back to this Christmas, you will not remember every detail of the food, the decorations, or the schedule. You will remember whether you looked away or whether you truly saw them. You will remember whether you kept your heart close to protect it, or opened it knowing it might break. Watching someone fading away is one of the hardest chapters of a human life. But inside this chapter, there is a quiet invitation to love with awareness, to speak without delay, to touch without holding back, and to let your presence be the one thing that does not disappear while everything else slowly does.